So we're going to look at elections. Let's talk about it because it is a central question. The National Mediation Board will do an investigation. And they look at many things, but one of the central things is the number. At Allegiant, how many flight attendants does the TWU have, and how many flight attendants do the Teamsters have? That's what they'll look at. And my numbers, I want to double check, is that we're approximately 1,900 flight attendants at Allegiant, growing.
Yes.
And approximately 800 at Sun Country.
Correct.
Those numbers are going to be looked at carefully, and one of two things can happen. Many times with that number, there'll be no election. They'll think that the dominant union is the TWU and we don't need an election. There's no magic sauce or formula. So I cannot tell you as someone who's an expert in this field what will happen. I've seen numbers like that where there's been no election. No election between all of the workers as to which union they want. Our dispatchers are sort of the opposite. We have approximately 60 dispatchers at Allegiant, and then our TW dispatchers at Sun Country are around 40. That number is a little closer, a bit closer, and that may very well trigger an election. We're going to assume there are not going to be elections, and we're going to assume there are going to be elections. It is more likely that there would be one in the dispatcher unit because of the 60-40, the closer number, than in the flight attendant world. We're going to wait and see. Either way, the TWU knows what it needs to do, and every one of our members, and I've been a lawyer for you all since 1983, we know what to do. Stay strong, stay unified, look at your contracts, police and enforce them, and know what the strength is of our unions. And that you know every day on the line or at the desk. We know that.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Definitely.
And so overall, there is that possibility that we could have multiple elections on different fronts.
100%. We could.
Okay.
Possibility.
Yes, possibility.
And I would say that it's more likely that might happen in the dispatch world, right, as opposed to the flight attendant world. Okay. We're ready in either case.
And so with the FAA single operating certificate for the NMB or any JCBA process, do we have to wait for that FAA single operating certificate for that?
No, it's like anything else. Until something happens legally, you don't have to sit on your hands. The question is, will we be talking to both ownerships and both carriers? Yes. Can both unions talk to each other? Yes. Can you be forced to do something now over this years-long process? No, until the FAA says they're a single airline and until the National Mediation Board says you're a single carrier, right? One is a safety sort of centric view, right? They got to look at the mechanics, the engines. Can you operate safety? What equipment? On our side, what scheduling software are you going to use? So they're looking at labor and they're looking at safety. When those boxes are all checked, then a real timeline starts. So you can do things informally before, but at some point it's going to be formal. And let's take seniority, for example. When we begin to talk about seniority, there are some governmental rules we have to follow. And in particular, statutes came out after the TWA merger that one Senator, Claire McCaskill, helped lead. So it's McCaskill-Bond law. And she was very worried that workers were going to be put at the bottom, called stapled. One list here, one list stapled at the bottom. And that law doesn't allow that. You have to integrate under some fair and equitable, magic legal words, fair and equitable measure. So there are a variety of ways to merge the seniority. We know them all. We're going to fight for the most fair and equitable way for our members. That's what we do. That's why you pay your dues. That's why you wear your TW logo as you have on your shirt. But so will our counterpart union. And in that process, you can come up and three paths. You can come up with an agreement between two unions. Some unions say, we understand you have the better contract, you have the larger number, and they shake hands. So that's an informal agreement between the unions of which union will survive and be the union at Allegiant. Okay?
Mhm.
Another way is mediation. A mediator comes in, agreed to by the parties, and said, can we work this out? Can we solve this in a good, honorable way? A third is if you can't get to an agreement and you can't get to it through mediation or marriage counseling, you then have an arbitration. And an outside neutral arbitrator will decide how the seniority will look. Is it 1 for 1? Is it dovetailing? If you have 5 years here, do you have 5 years here? Do you stay on the same floor? Do you look at relative seniority? It can be very complicated, actually. And that arbitrator's decision is final and binding. We've done those. We know how to do them. We've also settled. We've also had unions say to us, TW, you guys should be the union. All of those possibilities are months and years ahead from us.
Okay. And I'm guessing, for if we have to do an arbitration for seniority, right, that's not really the preferred route, right? We would want to settle it prior before.
Sure. As in anything in the world, it's like a fight at the carrier. It's like a terminated employee. As a professional flight attendant, as a professional dispatcher, as the TWU, you first try to resolve things. But we are also known across the country as America's Fighting Union. So we have no problem doing things collegially. Trade union respect. But if we have to go down the legal route, which is appropriate, we're going to fight. And we fight to win. So do your lawyers. And so that would be the second step. But the preferred step is to work it all out with our colleagues at the other union and with the carrier.
So Mark, I'm an Allegiant flight attendant, and I think like the big thing that's been on the line that I've been seeing a lot on, our chats and groups and things like that is this acquisition going to open up international flying? What routes are going to stay? What routes are going to go? Base structures, all of those things. I think there's a lot of anxiety around change, right? Because this is a huge change for our work group. And rightfully so, some people are a little anxious about it.
Sure.
Do you know, exactly, how do all those things, when those things happen, how should our flight attendants look at it and kind of anticipate changes? Sure.
So it is absolutely fair to be anxious because management gets to decide what they're going to do and what their business plans are. We're very involved. We watch it. We talk to them because sometimes they have good ideas and sometimes we think they're making huge business mistakes. And we're stakeholders. We give them input, but at the end of the day, the board of directors and the shareholders can decide if they want to go international or not. Where's our strength besides trying to be a partner in those dialogues? Our collective bargaining agreement. We have airline economists who know this industry as well as their economists. Your lawyers are pretty good too. And the leadership of the union know the workforce, know the work rules. Your dispatchers are professional dispatchers. Your flight attendants are professional flight attendants. So together, we're going to have a lot of say in the dialogue over those decisions, but it's ultimately, again, management's decisions. So how do we deal with it at the end of the day if they decide to go more international because of the Sun Country footprint? What are we going to do if they open bases or close bases? What are we going to do? We start back at our contract. They can't do these things unilaterally. Sitting here right today, and until there's a JCBA, they cannot unilaterally change our contract. It is a legally binding document, not only backed up by the law, but backed up by 1,900 flight attendants and the entire TW, the largest union in the airline industry, right? And the same thing with our dispatchers. So yes, there's a complete understandable position to be nervous and anxious, but the anchor that we have is each other and our union and our collective bargaining agreement and the law that protects it from being changed unilaterally. So there's a lot of things that are going to be happening. We're going to be busy over the next couple of years, but busy in a united way.